Hello and welcome to Marion County Today. I'm Commissioner Kevin Cameron, and this episode is going to feature some of our long-term employees with Marion County. And Marion County is blessed to have many long-term employees. As we go around and do awards every month, we're awarding certificates of 20, 25, 30 years, so it's great. With me today is Tom Fry. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
And Tom, you are current Director of IT.
I am.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your job and how long you've been with Marion County, first of all?
Sure. I've been here a little over 30 years. I started as a temp when we were building a mass burn facility, and so I helped out with that. That was pretty exciting.
Mass burn facility, which would be the
burner in Brooks.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I helped out with some of the programming there, and that kind of turned into a job. So that was really nice. So I started with the solid waste department, which is now, I believe, environmental services in public works.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So running the IT department, we do the all technology services for the county. And so we have a full service desk. Takes about 1,200 calls a month. And as you might expect, it's anywhere from just asking a question about how to do something to fixing a password or purchasing a new PC or laptop, installing software, that kind of stuff. So we also provide phone services as part of that, copiers, scanners, printers, all the normal IT stuff.
You even teach commissioners how to turn their computers on and off, in my case.
Yeah, that would.
Right.
We'll provide that service, sure. And so in the infrastructure piece of it, you know, we call it operations at Marion County, and they provide servers and networking and all those services. We have about 250 servers that we supporting all kinds of applications, as you might imagine. Provide those for all departments. As part of that, we set up large enterprise storage. These days, it seems like we're always buying new storage because people are collecting more and more data.
Sure, some of the challenges, and I know, like we've talked about, body cams on the sheriff, and people don't realize how much storage that takes to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's we're living in a world where it's the Internet of Things, which really means we're recording everything, whether it's a video or whether it's a sensor on a car. So the demands for storage are just going through the roof.
Good. Let's go back a little bit. Since you've been here 30 plus years, we were just talking about that before we got started. Mm-hmm. Do you remember something on your first day, or you know, the first time you came to Marion County up there? We always ask that. I know Commissioner Brantano always tells people to tell us something about your first day. Sometimes it's funny.
Yeah, so my first day, I was still at OSU, finishing up school.
Glad to hear that you were a Beaver.
Yeah, being a Beaver's good. So I met with the Director of Solid Waste and the Director of Public Works, and we met over coffee, and they wanted me to work on, at that point, some programming for the mass burn facility. So trucks come in, they get weighed, and they go in and up, and then they come out, and that was all automated. And so it hadn't been completed as part of a contract. So it was kind of fun, but the real interesting point, a part of that is I was a temp, and they wound up firing me because Marion County had temps for over a year, and there was some change that needed to be made. So I wound up getting rehired back by Public Works.
As a full-time
As a full-time after that.
Yeah. So they terminated you and rehired you.
Yeah, so it always seems kind of funny where I got fired.
So that would have been, when they asked you to help with that program, what year would that have been?
That was in late 84 and 85.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was helping out just to finish some of the development that had been started to support that effort.
So I remember, so if you were at Oregon State still, I was there, graduated in 80, but I remember taking a computer class where we did punch cards. So that was only just a few years after that.
Yeah.
The computer changes that you have witnessed from the time you were in college to today.
Yeah. When I first started, believe it or not, they were still using typewriters and, whiteout. And so I came into the Public Works Department and helped them buy their first computer which was really it came from Radio Shack, if you remember the Radio Shack
yeah.
franchise. And so yeah, we put it in, and it did word processing and spreadsheets, and man, did they love me at that point, because going from paper to electronic systems they were pretty impressed. Especially, I think the spreadsheet at that point was called 2020. Some of the engineers really went to town on that.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you share some of the challenges in today's world that you have in IT? Obviously, we see on the news about the internet and the threats from those types of things.
yeah, so you nailed it. Security is a big challenge anymore, because you can get a virus just from an email coming in from a friend or a colleague, and it looks legit, and you click on it, and all of a sudden it's executing a program which could cause a virus to spread throughout the county. So we spend quite a bit of time monitoring and managing that kind of thing, which 5-8 years ago we didn't have to do as much.
Yeah.
So that is a big challenge that we face. Security. Other things would, I don't know. Let's see.
What do you like most about the job you do today?
What I like most is working with people and technology to provide business solutions. It seems like there's always a new challenge for a department in their old business practice, whether it was changing something from a paper-based system to an electronic system, or simply these days replacing a system maybe they've had for 15 years.
Wow.
And so that becomes kind of challenging, because now you got to deal with all their old data conversion. A lot of these systems are connected to other systems, so large system replacement is pretty, it takes a lot of energy. They can take a year plus to get completed properly. Yeah.
So how about if you notice in the last, you said 5 to 8 years or 5 years, there's been a lot of challenges in security. How about productivity and some of the changes that you've seen, the things we're able to do that we probably couldn't do 5 or 8 years ago?
Yeah, believe it or not, probably one of the biggest productivity tools is your cell phone.
Yeah.
Cell phones have changed so much from being basically a desk phone with no voicemail to now these devices that are little mini supercomputers. I don't know about you, but it's hard to manage your life without one. It's telling you when to get up and when your meeting is, and what to pick up at the store, and from feeds from different systems.
Yeah, and then people expect you to respond right away too. It just drives me a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's nice to shut them off once in a while.
Too many email accounts and
Yeah.
text messages and Facebook and all those things that you get. So
Yeah, we're all plugged in pretty tightly.
yeah. So the last question I probably would love to hear you answer is, what has kept you at Marion County for 30 plus years?
Personally, I've had lots of opportunities here at Marion County, different jobs, different projects. Got to meet most people in the county, most department folks. So that's been really exciting for me. I did projects when we built the jail. They put in a JMS, or a jail management system, that I got to be involved in. At Public Works, we built a pavement management rating system that, believe it or not, we flew down to Oakland quite a few times and supported a MTC, Metropolitan Transit Commission, and helped them with that project. So lots of opportunity, a lot of good people.
Well, we really appreciate your service for 30 plus years, and I know that you have done a lot to help the citizens of Marion County, and we're thankful for that, Tom, and my best wishes as you finish out your career and in the future. We're thankful for having you here, and we're going to close with that, and we thank you for being with us today on Marion County Today.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Sam Brentano, Marion County Commissioner, and the second segment on our report today about Marion County employees that have been there. You got to be careful how you say a long time, but really it's a long time. I have with me Tracy Fisk. Now, she's only 28 years. We've got 35s and a lot more than that. In fact, we'll meet one here in a little bit. But 28 is pretty good, don't get me wrong. But unfortunately for Tracy, I've known her or about her for a long time, both being around the state and area, and an incident just happened. I just got to get to the bottom of it. I'm eating dinner with my wife and daughter. She walks right by, makes eye contact, and then just sits down. So kind of leaves me like, what are you supposed to do? Well, maybe that wasn't her, I even said, but then eventually she fessed up to it. It reminded me of a time. Do you know who Mel Counts is?
I don't think so.
Well, he's a friend of mine. He sells real. He played for the Beavers, and I don't know. I don't know who he played pro ball. But anyway, he's like 6'11", 7 foot. And he said to me one time, "Oh, sorry, Sam. I just didn't. I don't recognize short people." He said, and I felt just the same way. So that out aside, I don't want to take too much more time.
It was the hat.
The hat fooled you.
Yes.
Okay, I'll wear it more often. So, 28 years.
Yes.
So what better tell us just exactly what you do? I should have started, all kidding aside. I know everything you do with Marion County is important. Marion County is really important. And I run into you and your name all the time being commissioner, so I know you're doing things. And so what is it?
I do a little bit of everything. For our department, I work for business services. I do our budget, and I do special projects, which can be anything from rekeying a building to helping departments move, and back to payroll. I do all of our internal recruitments. So I stay busy.
Yeah, I know you do. So it changes every day almost, it sounds, or what,
It
every
does.
month, whatever they, you're a utility type player, is that?
Yes, I am. If they don't have someone to do the job, then they call my name.
Is there something that you particularly like, that when they say, "Oh, I get to do that again," that's fun?
I think I most enjoy working with people. So they have me out. I enjoy helping departments move. I enjoy going out and coordinating with departments when we're going to rekey their offices. I've recently taken on the county's surplus property job. So that's been quite interesting, and I get to see a lot of people and work with different departments and all their surplus property.
So what is this stuff that needs to be thrown away, or is there some good items, or what do you got going?
There's variety. I have a box of breathalyzer
Well, that's important.
stuff that I guess is outdated, and what do you do with that? I'm not sure. There might be a market out there.
But you find uses or do say goodbye to stuff?
Yeah, we keep it for a while, and we also sell it on Gov Deals. And
Oh, I don't think I've ever even heard of it. Well, we'll have to make sure.
yeah,
take a
you'll
look.
have to check it out.
I thought maybe you were going to say you found some old Randy Frankie files or something.
I do have, in fact, I was going to toss it, sorry, but there's an old, it was called vintage, Board of Commissioners sign in surplus. So I slid it back in the corner, and
When you say vintage, I'm sure you're referring to
I'm
30 years
thinking
ago?
At least.
Oh, thank you.
At least. So, so I still have it. I felt guilty to say, take it to the dump. So.
No, that needs to be saved, and thank you for
Yes.
doing that. So what other memorable or things that, I should start at the beginning, and I probably, well, I kind of do this. I like to ask people about their first day, because it's such an important day when you come in and you're looking around new and you don't know anybody, you don't even know where you're supposed to be or how it's supposed to go. And actually in your job today, you probably help people through that.
I do.
But talk about your own first day and who you were with and where and what stands out.
It's funny because I saw that question as one that you might ask, and I went, what did I do my first day? And then I kept thinking, and I thought, I was terrified. I hadn't really worked in an office setting, in a large office.
So where are you at and stuff, and with who?
I started with the facilities management department in the basement of the courthouse, in an office with no windows.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So what was nice about it was I met all new employees. Any employee that came into the county came into our office and got keys, and eventually key cards when we started having electronic doors.
I think I still have a key I didn't turn in, but that's another story.
Yeah, you probably do.
But you're back to your first day, and so who were you with? Who was your boss, if I could call it even a boss, supervisor?
My supervisor at the time was a woman by the name of Karen Wilson. She has left the county many years
I
ago.
couldn't quite hear. Wilson or Olson?
Wilson.
Wilson. Okay.
Yes. I worked under Bob McEwen. He was the facilities manager at the time. And I learned a lot of things about the county and the operations of the HVAC and air conditioning units and our cleaning schedules and our maintenance schedules. So I get to have a lot of fun with that still.
So one I like to ask, so if you can't, maybe you can't remember a specific first day, but you certainly are back in that time. So would you ever thought that you'd be here 28 and hopefully 48 years?
No.
It didn't look like a lifetime job or opportunity for you?
No, I knew it would be a career of some point, but I thought eventually I would go other places. And I haven't. I've enjoyed my job very much.
In some ways, we do this so, one, to celebrate people who have been with us a long time and count, but also let the public know that there's such opportunities in Marion County that you can come in and make a life of it, and move around enough to see different things and make it an interesting and fulfilling life. Would that be true with what you'd say? Yes,
I started as an entry level. At the time, it was called a Department Specialist 1. And I started there and worked my way up through the ranks of the county. I've stayed in the same department all these years, but I've done a lot different things since I started. I used to, my original job was to take calls on work orders, and we hand wrote those work orders out and what building it was in and what floor, who the contract person was. And so it was all handwritten on, it had the copy paper.
Sure.
So you'd rip a piece off for the
Keep
person.
one for the file.
Yes.
Any really interesting characters or people you really enjoyed working with as we wind this up?
Most of the maintenance guys were very unique and different, fun. Mm-hmm. They liked to pull pranks on you. So they had one guy dressed up in a bunny suit at one time with a bunny tail on. He was actually working with asbestos at the time, and they had to put a tail on him and a little fuzzy, so.
And you've been with a number of directors from facilities to business services?
Yes.
Anybody had a big influence on you or anything?
You know, I've been lucky with most of our directors. I've worked under great ones. Our current director, Colleen, is wonderful, as you know. So yeah, I've had good people I've worked for. There's been a couple that have been challenging, but most have been very good.
Well, looks like we're about out of time, but I really enjoy working with you. I try to give you a bad time at the beginning, but only because I know you're the type of person that likes to have a good time and do good things too. So I said it, I didn't mean it jokingly. I do hope you're here another 20 years.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
do. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Commissioner Sam Brentano again, and we're here in Marion County today talking about our employees that have been with Marion County for a long time. And the person I have, well, that sounds bad, but I don't mean it bad at all. Deborah Durig, and I have to say this right, she's a contract specialist, not an analyst, with the juvenile department. And I just had, I don't know if we ran across each other past there, I tell people there's 1,400 employees with Marion County, so you think you know everybody, but maybe you really don't. But I don't know that we'd ever met before that I could recall. And I went to juvenile to give you a service pin for 35 years, and I think that's a record I've done. That's a long time. And I got to tell you the truth. So there's probably, 15 or 20 people in there, and so I'm kind of looking around figuring, well, who will it be? Who am I giving this to? And I'm sorry, I had somebody spotted that 35 years is a long time. Anyway, when you said them, I was just kind of taken back, and I said, you look like you're good for another 35 years.
Well,
I don't have any doubt about that.
Thank you.
So I asked you then, and it's later in the questions, I'll probably be out of order, but take us back 35 years. Where were you at? Who did you work with? What sticks out? And then we'll get into some others as we go, but if you wouldn't mind.
No, I don't mind. I started with the health department as a medical office assistant when the health department still had a home health agency. They had visiting nurses and therapists that went to people's homes. So when you first got out of the hospital or something, and like after stroke, and I got that job. Well, I heard about the job because my mom
Well, I
was
got to
working for
stop
the
you there.
county.
Did you have some? Did you have some medical experience, or what's your background?
No,
for
but
that?
I'd been in college and I was planning to go into the medical profession,
Okay.
so I had medical terminology and had worked at Salem Hospital
All
for
right.
3 years while I was in high
that's
school.
legitimate
So.
background. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I got in with Marion County. My mom saw the opening, suggested I apply, and the most memorable thing
I need
about
to
my
interrupt you
first day.
one more time because
Okay.
you just told me before we started about your mom actually working for the county. Could you say what her
Sure.
name was?
Yeah,
and,
that's
and where
Doris
she worked?
Wallace.
Doris
Yeah,
Wallace.
and she worked at the assessor's office. And she retired in 97, I think it was, or 98. She still meets with assessor's office retirees
She
once
still
a month.
has friends there.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah, she
Now I
does.
interrupted you. Can
That's
you remember
okay.
where you were going?
I started as medical office assistant, and I don't remember where I was going with that, but
I was
yeah.
asking about first day, first
Oh,
impressions,
yeah,
of
yeah.
things that stood out there.
Things that stood out was I started that. My first day was on the second floor of the health department because the third floor was under construction because they were moving, I think, mental health back in. So my tenure at health department was always a remodel, moving to other buildings. I mean, that's what I remember most about
When was
working
the
at
current health building built? Is this about the time you're coming on,
No.
or it was there?
It was built in 75 or 76, and this was 81 when I
Okay.
started. So they were just doing some remodeling, and we were kind of squished in on the second floor, and then we moved up to the third floor with when mental health moved in. We kind of shared the third floor. Stayed there for quite a while, and then home health agency eventually closed and went all private. But yeah, that's what
I
we
know
did.
the health department in my time has gone back and forth with programs coming in, going out. But anybody that's still with the health department that made I'll say made an impression, but all this time, if you remember 35
There's
years.
not too many left over
That's
there
what I was
that I
afraid
started
of.
with. People that made a big impression on me was, one of them was a program manager, Richard Horner. He was the supervisor of the children's mental health program, which is my second job that I had with the county. And he just had a great sense of humor, and one year for what they called Secretary's Day then, now they call it Administrative Assistants Day, he and a bunch of the other managers dressed up like women and went around and did the lip sync to the video, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. They just went in and out of all the offices, so everybody got to have a little fun that day. And yeah,
That
it was
would be
pretty funny.
memorable, but-
Somebody videotaped it, and I
Oh,
don't know
really?
who has it now, but somebody, that was in the
I'm sure
mid-80s.
it's been destroyed to hide the evidence.
Cyndi Laupers, they were all dressed up, and yeah.
I doubt if you see that today, but you never know.
You never know, but he was quite empowering, and
Children's
He was
mental
great.
health is an issue that I'm pretty serious about.
yeah.
So
I was there 15 years.
Were you?
About, give or take.
And doing the same, we've had
Yeah.
uses county services where they've come out and helped with a granddaughter, and they are helpful. But was that what you were doing still then with that, or is it a whole different program?
Yeah, they had counselors where people would come in and see the counselors when they had issues with their children.
They would come to.
They would come
the
to us,
county.
yeah. We had some counselors who would go out to schools and would meet with the school district staff, the school guidance counselors, and and sometimes also with juvenile department probation officers.
So now we're making and you kind of referred to it, you stayed there for the first 15 years, so then I guess the next 20 years you somehow switch. And what happened?
I just ended up in administration at health department. I did payroll, did new employee orientation, just a variety of things. There was always a new challenge. And then I ended up at juvenile department doing contracts and all their purchasing. I love it.
I can't.
I'm paid to buy things.
Oh, is that right? Oh, you're scaring me.
I'm
Don't let
paid
my
to go
wife know that
shopping.
story. Are you kidding? But it doesn't seem like a normal progression. It does not seem like you're staying in subject and getting higher and higher. You found different opportunities in the county, said I could do that or applied for it. Just talk about that.
Yeah. Well, when I think about it, I've been here over 35 years now. I remember looking at other people's plaques and stuff on the wall and going, how could anyone stay so long? But There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different things a person can do in the county. They provide lots of training, so you know, I didn't know everything about contracts, but I learned it. I'm learning it, still a lot to learn, but you know, there's just something new every day. Even technology
I kind
is
of just want to
calm.
know now, do you have your eyes on something else?
No, not
No,
right now.
not right now,
No,
but you
no.
kind of, you must keep, or you either hear it through
Yeah.
the grapevine or you look somewhere and say, oh, that'd be interesting.
Sometimes. Right now there's just a lot changing in contracts with our new contract management system, so that's a whole nother, we're putting everything online, you know, tracking it and everything. So there's a whole new learning curve there, so every day it's something new.
So what would you say has really changed? You've seen a lot of what we do at the
Hmm.
county. Just the time, are we as modern as other organizations, institutions?
I
Or?
think so. I haven't seen too many other organizations, but I think, of course, what's changed is technology. You know, we started on typewriters, whiteout, you know, and now it's. Oh, that's what I was going to say about my first day. When I got hired, I'd applied, and I wasn't married. And then by the time I got the job, I was married, so I had a different last name. Well, nowadays, that's pretty easy to fix because it's just a computer. That haunted me for a year. Nobody could get my name right for a year because everything had to be changed by hand. So,
Yeah, we had Tom early in a segment on this program talking about it. He's really seen it, but I guess because you're at the same time period, really.
exactly.
And taking what he has, he talked about the first computer bought at Radio Shack, so you start with stuff like that and then have to go. And I know how hard it is to make updates or
Oh, yeah,
systems transformations. So you've seen a lot of those. Any that jump out or went good or bad?
Not really. I mean, sometimes they don't start out real smoothly. Like when we, the year 2000, we had to switch to a
Oh,
new
yes.
computer system for payroll.
Everybody was worried about things.
I mean, we'd work until 8 or 9 o'clock trying to get payroll entered so people could get paid. And now, yeah, it goes pretty seamlessly. I mean, thank you to all the payroll people that get it done, but I mean, it was so slow at first, but now it's working great.
Debbie, I really want to thank you for all your efforts for the county and willing to go anywhere. But I mean it just like that.
I love the challenges.
But I want to just kind of end it and ask you that, look, a form of what I maybe asked the other day. So how did you know on your first day, or when did you know that I'll be here 35 years, or I even want to be here 35 years?
You don't. I think that's what I've heard from other people. No one started their jobs planning that. They just, because they have always had a new opportunity, a new challenge, so they stayed. They didn't see anything that looked better elsewhere.
And the county offers that. We are out of time, but I'm glad for the chance to meet you again, and congratulations on 35 years, and I do think you can go another 35.
I feel like I could. Thank you.
Well, that's our program for Marion County today. On behalf of the Marion County Commissioners, I thank you for watching, but I just want to sum this up by saying I hope you see the opportunities there are for people to work for Marion County and to be here for a long time and lead happy and productive careers. I really believe Marion County is an opportunity for great self-fulfillment and advancement. That's all. Thanks.